array concept, right? So why we use array? So yesterday we have discussed if you want to store multiple element or multiple object, then we should go for an array. But in array we have advantage and disadvantage. So where we can use in your real time, where we cannot use. But in real time we use collection, because array we have a many disadvantage. Okay, so I will tell you what is the advantage and disadvantage of an array, and how to display the value inside this an array. Okay, so if you have like how to create a 1D array, so okay, so now we have a 5 location. So yesterday we have seen, right, how this value will store inside this. New keyword means one object is created. I have given the 5 location, or size is your 5, and it will start from 0 index, right? So array is working on the index, and index will start from 0. Okay, so now by default value is 0. So default value of int is 0. So whatever the value you type is there, so by default it is value 0, and your here value is 1010. Okay, and this a will point here to this. Actually value will this hash code is inside this. Okay, now then how to store the value inside this an array, right? So this is the location a of 0. I'm going to store 1, a of 1, I'm going to store 2, a of 2, I'm going to store 3, a of 3 equal to 4, and a of 4 equal to 5. Okay, so what happened internally, this value will store inside this. Okay, so here 1 2 3 4 5. So this value will store inside this an array. Now how to display this, right? We have to iterate this. So we will use for loop. Okay, a of dot length dot I plus plus. Okay, so we have to iterate because we have a multiple element, right? So how to iterate this? So we have a multiple element a of I. So now how this value will display, just I'm going to check it is working properly or not. It is working. So what happened, we have a store inside this. Now we are going to iterate this value. So how to iterate? So we will use here for loop. How this for loop is working? So first is your initialization part, second it will check the condition, and this is your increment and decrement. So we have initialized int I equal to 0, then I greater than a dot length, right? So what happened here, I value is, so how this for loop will work? First is your initialization. So in the first iteration I equal to 0. Okay, then it will check. So a is your it will find the length of an array. Okay, so we have a 5 length, right? Now in the first iteration, this is your first iteration, then what happened, this control will go after checking this condition. Yes, the condition is true, then control will come here. It won't be go here. Okay, in the first iteration initialization, then it will check the condition. It won't be go in the first iteration here. So now a of uh, 0 equal to 1, it will display. Now the control will go here, then I will become what? I will become I equal to 1, I will become 1, then again here we will check the condition I greater than 5. Okay, then control will come a of 1. Okay, then a of 1 is what? 2. Right, again I will become I equal to 2. Okay, then again it will check a 2 greater than 5, then a of 2 is equal to 3. So this is how this loop will work. Okay, so if I will compile and if I will execute this code, now I am able to display that. But we have some disadvantage of an array. I have given the location 5, right? If you will increase the size of an array, then what happen? I am going to increase the size, whatever the size I am going to give here. So compile time we are not getting any error, but run time we will get error. This is the error, array index out of bound exception. So this is the big disadvantage of an array. We cannot increase or decrease the size as per requirement, but in the real time nothing is a static, right? Everything is a dynamic. We should not only fix the size. If you are simple, I can give you the example. In the real time application is there, right? Every company having the application, and inside this application we have a employee data, right? Inside this application we have a employee data. So employee are leaving the company and joining the company. So what happen if we will use the array, then it is very difficult to maintain, right? This is the big disadvantage of an array. That's why the collection framework they have released in Java, right? So what happen, it is not, if you will use array concept, so size is not a dynamic, size is a static. So we cannot increase or decrease the size as per requirement. Okay, this is the first disadvantage. Okay, this is your first disadvantage. If you will try to store any other type, okay, I am going to store in the double type, right? Then what happen if I will try to store double type, then you can see we are getting incompatible type, lossy conversion. So we cannot store different type. If you have a requirement, you have to create a functionality, you have to remove the duplicate element. Then what happen, we need to write the code from the scratch. We don't have any inbuilt method, right? So we cannot do that. We have to do the coding from the scratch level. Then what happen, if this is a small requirement, if we have a big requirement for like to like that, then we don't have any inbuilt method. So what happens in real time, our productivity will decrease because we have to start the coding from the scratch. But in collection they have given the another collection set type, set. So if you want to store only unique object, then we use only set, right? But here we don't have inside this collection we have a many inbuilt method. So simply we can call the method and we can use. This is the another disadvantage of an array. As compared to collection, array is faster, okay, but we have a many disadvantages. So in the real time we can't use frequently array concept. Another problem is retrieval order problem. If you will get the output, so you will get the output only for retrieval order. No, I want to display the element as a sorting order, or I want to display the element as a ascending or descending order, then what happen? We have to again write the logic, but in collection we have an inbuilt method to do that. So we can simply get the output as per our project requirement. There is no need to write the code from the scratch level. So these are the disadvantage of an array. So someone will ask, what is an array, right? So one more thing, I will give you the documentation for that. We can store array okay. Okay, like that also. We have to give any. We have to comment this. Okay. So you can directly store. Internally it is going to happen like that. But they have developed, we should not write like that. It will store directly the value. If you will go in the internal part, it is storing the value same like that. Got it, right? It depend upon the size, how much you are giving here, how much element you are storing here. So size will depend upon users, how much size you are providing to an array, right? So this is your array. If you have, okay, I will tell you in the next session. So I have documented all the part. Okay, so array introduction, declaration, creation, initialization, declaration, creation, initialization, length, width, length method, anonymous array, array element assignment, array variable, array assignment. So introduction of an array. So what is an array? Array is an index collection of a fixed number of homogeneous data element. The main advantage of an array is we can represent multiple value by using a single variable, so that readability, understanding of the code will be improved. The main disadvantage of an array, size is fixed. That is, once create a size with some size, then there is no chance to increase and decrease the size based on our requirement. Hence, array use a concept is compulsory. We should know the size in advance, which is not possible always. So what is the solution of disadvantage thing? The solution is your collection. So again I will explain the when I will move in the collection, again I will give you little bit idea about of an array. Disadvantage part, then I already discussed, but again I will tell you. Okay, so array declaration, how to declare an array. So we can declare this, but we cannot declare like that, you will get error. We can declare like that, no problem, you won't get any error. Okay, so where the error will come, compile time error, it will come only compile time error, because this is your syntax problem. Okay, so two places we will get compile time error. This is not a way for declaration, you cannot write anything. Here we can see we have declared like that, and here we can declare like that. So you can declare an array in any ways, you won't we get any error. Okay, I have to comment this. Okay, so from here and from here we were getting this error, so just comment this too and we'll execute. Where is this curly braces? Okay, so this is your array, how to declare this. At the time of array declaration, we cannot specify the size, otherwise we will get compile time error. So here we cannot declare size like that. Here we cannot declare the size. If you will declare the size, you will get error. This is not a way, not a statement. This is the illegal type expression. We cannot do that. It is not in Java stuff. So how to declare 2D array? So this is your 2D array. How to declare? So but here the variable name must be different. Okay, so you can see here we can provide the space, and like that it will execute. If you will execute this, so a space doesn't matter here. Because the variable name we have to give the different, right? Otherwise it won't be executed. If I will compile this code, we won't be get any error. Okay, so we can declare, but here you can see sometime variable is here. We have again a space, and I have written this variable, so it doesn't matter for that. It will work. We have a 3D array like that also, but I'm not going for the 3D array, but I have given the declaration. So same like that, you can change this variable name and you can execute this. So here only spaces and variable you can write anywhere. But if you are creating this, so only one variable, right? Array definition itself, if you want to store a multiple element in a single variable, right? So here we can store only, if you are using any type of an array, then we must be use only single variable. If you are using multiple variable, you will get compile time error. So array creation, how to create an array? So every array in Java is an object, right? We are creating, right? Why is an object? So I have already shown you, right? This new keyword, then an object will create it, then it will initialize size, location. So every array in Java an object, hence we can create array by using the new operator. So we have already seen that. So for every array type, okay, so what happen if you are writing any array type, internally it is a class. Okay, how it is a class? Because when you are creating an object, so how to create an object? Class name, referenced variable new, and class name, right? So internally it is a class only. This is called corresponding class name. Okay, so for every array type, the corresponding classes are available, and these classes are the part of Java language, not applicable for programmer. So this is not applicable for programmer, but internally how? So if you are writing this int, so this is the corresponding classes sort. So every data type having the corresponding classes. So how to find this corresponding classes? Okay, how to find this? So we have created 1D array and 2D array. So I will tell you how this 2D array will work internally. So now just I want to find you the corresponding classes. So we have a method called get class method and get name method. So by using this get class and get name, we can find the corresponding classes of an array. So let's see what is meaning of corresponding classes. Right, these are the corresponding classes. Okay, so integer type, it is showing that. So how you can see how when you are creating an object of an array, so how to create an object? Class name, reference variable, new keyword, then we have a constructor. Okay, so internally array is a corresponding classes. The name itself is a corresponding classes. So this is the integer type, this is your corresponding classes, right? So how, when someone will ask why we create an object for an array, okay, how it is going to work, that then you have to explain them. Hey, if you will go in the internal part of an array, internally how this array is developed, so internally it is an corresponding classes. So someone will ask how you can prove yourself, it is not visible for us. Then you can use the get class and get name, and you have to tell them, you can see when you are creating this array, we are getting this output like the corresponding classes if you will use get class and get name. But nobody will ask. Okay, they can ask what is an array and what is the advantage and disadvantage of an array. Size, if you will try to give the size as a negative, then what happen, you will get error. Okay, we won't get any error as a compile time, but run time we will get java.lang negative array size exception. So array cannot, size cannot be negative, it will get compile time error, sorry, runtime error. So what is the difference between, can you give the size as a 0? Yes, we can give size as a 0. Okay, so how to get the size of an array? So by using the length variable. So by using the length variable we'll get length of the size. Okay, so length is a variable. So when someone will ask why length is your, why can provide length as a 0, so we have a proof of that. So main method, if you have a string, this is also array, right? A string type of an array, and this is your referenced variable only. So when I am going to find the size of this array, a string type of an array, then I am getting the size is also 0. So in inbuilt method, the Java people are already use size as a 0, and we won't get any compile time error or any runtime error. How to find the size? So I already discussed. So by using the length variable we can find the size. Okay, this is a one more example, little bit different, but you won't get, if you know Java already, then you will understand clearly. If you don't know, but no worry, I will explain this part also. Okay, so what is this? So I have used here I took one variable, class level variable, and I use here constructor. Okay, this is your constructor. And why we use the constructor? When you are creating any class, right? So creation is one thing, declaration, creation, and initialization. Got it, right? So when you are creating an object, if you are creating user defined class, then that class we must be, and if you are using the object type of like referenced variable, or if you want to display the employee name, then what happen, we provide the initialization of an object. How to provide that? So Java people have given one concept called constructor. So what is the constructor? What is the job of constructor? Why we use this constructor? Constructor name and class name must be same. So when you can see, this is called your local variable. I will explain this part in the variable chapter. Okay, but I am using this code, then I will explain that. So this is your local variable. So what happen when you initializing an object or class, then what happen, this is your class level variable, right? So this variable, how to initialize with respect to classes, means if you are using this block, this is your local, you can tell the local. So this is the class level we are going to initialize. Or what happened, by using this keyword dot x equal to x, it will point current object, it will point the current object or current variable, whatever you have use here class level. If you will not use this keyword, then value will come null, means it is not pointing class level variable. This is the class level variable, you can use anywhere, but how to initialize with respect to this constructor? Okay, so that's why we use this keyword, this keyword and constructor variable having the separate session, so you will get more clarity over there. Okay, so created this, then after that I have created an object of an array. And why the value, if you are creating an object, little bit I have to explain regarding this object part. So when you are creating an object, this is your class name. How to create an object? By using the class name referenced variable. We have a new keyword. So new keyword is created an object. This part is called constructor. Okay, class name, how to create an object, referenced variable, new keyword, and this is called constructor. You can say this is only. So here we have an input and I am going to pass output, right? So constructor, when I will come on the constructor, you will get internally how it is going to work, the constructor part. Okay, so just you can he can see here this, because when you are creating an object, constructor will call. Okay, how the constructor is calling, it is not visible. I will show you when constructor will start. Okay, how this constructor is calling when you are creating any object. So only constructor is there. Here I cannot so if you will create a simple object, not an array type of an object. So this is your constructor. Okay, so here it will call this constructor will go in the your this block and it will execute. Okay, these are the unnecessary thing I have added here. No use of this in this code. Okay, but no problem, I will explain every topic, every separate topic I will explain. Okay, so don't worry about that. So we have a double type of an array, right? Here only one thing, if you will use array as a double type, we will get incompatible type error. Okay, so we cannot use this incompatible type. So this example is, I close this. Got it, right? So here we cannot use size as a double type. This is the one. So here, but you can create double type of an array, and I have given the sizes as a integer value. It is acceptable. I have created float type an array. Here just we are going to same size, right? Here how to will get the size, like here we have a size is 9. Just we have passed I1 dot length. So here we have also size is your 9. So here we will also get the size is 9, and here what I am going to print. So here just no need to print. If you will print this, you will get confused. Hash code will generate. So coming session we will discuss what is the hash code. Okay, so this is the another example. Yeah. So we have a one question, what is the difference between the simple object and array object, right? So array object I already discussed. So simple object or array object. So like we have a class test. Okay, now I'm going to create test. Okay, t equal to new test. This is your simple object, and I'm going to create array e1 equal to new. Okay, okay, test. Okay, so I'm going to create an array like that. Just I'm giving the size 5. So what happened? So here this is your new keyword and this is your object. This is called your simple object. Simple object creation means I should delete this one, but let's see. So this is your simple object is created. That's it. So here your okay, so here we have a t1 t and value is 10 and it will store. Here I am not storing any value. When you are creating text type or class type of an array object, so what happened? So someone will ask what is the difference between, then just make this diagram and you can show them. Okay, so we have a 5 locations. I'm not going to all locations, just I will show you here. Then what happened, we have a here T and T1, right? This is your T1 and here value is 2020. Okay, it will point to here now. So here the default value is null, right? I told you, right? Default value is null. Default value is already there if you are using any value, because this is your class type of an array. Got it, right? So default value is null. So just I have written here what is the difference between array and simple array and this array. So I already, okay, I'll show you this diagram and okay, so test demo 1 I have to change everywhere. Okay, okay, you can see here I have created an array, right? Simple and simple object and array object. So here I'm going to display this referenced variable. Then what happened, reference variable, if you will display the reference variable you will get hash code, and if you will display only object also you will get hash code only. So what happened, this concept, if you will go in the collection, so we are going to a store. I'll give you little bit idea about a hash code. Actually, what is hash code and what is the use of? So I told you, right, collection is a container. If you want to store multiple object, so this is your big container. If you want to store multiple object, okay, if you want to store multiple, I'm going to store multiple object, right? So this object, how to identify the Java, right? Got it. In one object we have a employee information, okay, like every object having the emp name or emp id, right? So how to, when you are using set type of a collection, so set type of a collection is working on the hashing algorithm. So every object, when you are using any object, so every object having the one hash code, okay, that hash code is nothing but it is a number, okay, any number will generate here. So every object having the hash code, so hash code means it will identify unique object. Got it, right? So here if you are printing this referenced variable also, because the reference variable is holding this object, so as per project requirement, why we use this referenced variable, okay, inside this object, right? In this object I'll tell you why we use this reference variable. Inside this object we have a value int a equal to 10 or a employee value, or just I am giving the example, right, or a string s equal to 20. Then how to access this? If you will only create an object, that is fine, only value will store, but how to access this? So if you are holding this referenced variable, okay, if you are holding this reference variable like t, or your object is there, right, this is like holding, just giving the example, then how to access? So by using this t, reference variable dot a, right? So job of the reference variable, it will access the object which is present inside this your object, inside this value, whatever the value which is available inside this object, we are going to access this value. Got it, right? So why we use reference variable, and what is the use of hash code? So if you will display this hash code, you will get reference variable, we will get hash code. And even if we will create, if we will display only object also, we will get hash code. Okay, you can see this hash code, I told you, right? Random number generated. So this is also having some twist. This hash code is generated by JVM. Then we have a requirement, no, I want to generate my hash code. So we will learn this part in the java.lang package, object class, how to create your hash code, right? So this is the default hash code generated by the JVM, but requirement is that I don't want to use JVM hash code, I want to use my hash code. Then we will use hash code method, which is available in java.lang packaging inside this object class. So if you want to use your hash code, then we have a method called hash code method. That method we will override that. Okay, then we'll continue on the Monday. So tomorrow there is no class, I will continue on the Monday. Okay guys, I'll send you the notes. Bye.